Hello, welcome to Yoga with Rach. Thank you so much for joining me. It's lovely to see you on week 4 of our gentle stability practice. Before we dive into that, I just want to say thank you very much. It's wonderful seeing so many of you subscribing to the channel, whether you've been here and are just subscribing, just showing your support, whether you're new. Thank you very much, welcome. I put videos up once a week every Thursday. These tend to be a broken down segment of my main sequence of what I'm particularly teaching in my general classes, and at the moment, because they're live stream, you can join them in live as well. All the details are down in the comments below. So with Taurus, it's all about gentle stability, and we want to find that in the back. And Taurus actually rules over the throat chakra. And sorry if you can hear some noise. I'm at home, obviously, and my dog is trying to look out the window because everyone keeps walking past. But I'm going to roll with it because this is the joy of being at home rather than videoing in the studio. So Taurus rules over the throat chakra. So I always love to joke that Taurus, where they're the second sign in the zodiac, they are the toddlers. This is where we start to find our voice. Now, most people would think that would be Gemini, because Gemini are the communicators, but that's when we really start to talk as I lose my voice, as we really start to talk, and then we find there's space without of ourselves. So with when we first start to find our voice, it's learning to express ourselves, and then we move into how we can express and communicate with others and starting to understand. That's when we move into the sign of Gemini, hence the duality. Whereas with Taurus, we want to know that we're honouring ourselves. Taurus season is all about moving slowly, very deliberately. There's that little bit of learning, and it's honouring that we know ourselves. So when a toddler's learning to talk, one word they tend to love is the word no. And I've been saying to my students over the last 4 weeks that really utilize this word in your yoga practice, because sometimes when we're guided by a teacher, whether that's in person, whether it's live, whether it's a recording like you're doing now, it can be very tempting to follow along because that's what the teacher's guiding us to. But really listen to your body and learn to utilize that word no for when something doesn't feel right in your practice. So we're going to have a look at a couple of different back bends and see which one works for you. So you might not practice the belly down, so you might wait until I've guided through that, or you might skip forward and go straight for the belly up back bend. See which feels best for you. So as we find our way onto the belly, take your time coming down onto the belly. So you've got the legs stretching away, forehead resting on the mat, and let the arms rest down by your hips. So we're going to check in with locust pose, and then half bow and maybe full bow pose. If these don't feel right, do skip to when we come out of these. So with locust pose, we're gently starting to lift the head up off the mat. And you can keep your head quite neutral, so you're looking down at the mat. We can start to lift the arms and reach the arms back, and then lifting the legs. Keep the legs straight, so you're lifting from the hips. You're not bending into the knees yet. Focusing on the breath, checking in with how you feel in your lower back. And if you have got anything going on in your back, sometimes certain back bends can aggravate that. So you might prefer this variation over the belly facing up to the ceiling, or if this feels uncomfortable, you might prefer to skip ahead to the belly facing up if the belly facing down feels uncomfortable. Gently lowering down. So that's our locust pose. We're going to check in with half bow pose. So lift your head, lift your arms, lift your legs. We're going to bend one knee, doesn't matter which side, and reach the hand back and hold on to that foot. The other arm is reaching back, the other leg is reaching back. So you're now in half bow, half locust. Gently release that foot, keep the foot lifted but straighten the leg. Bend the other knee, reach the arm back and hold on to the foot. Now don't force that bind, that connection of hand to foot if it's not there yet. So you might be here. So this can be a nice way to move between the two poses. So we just start to find bow pose, and then once we've done that a couple of times each side, we can lower down onto the mat. So you can stay with the first option, locust, second option, half locust, half bow, or lifting to locust pose, bend both knees, bring the hands onto the feet. From here, so you find this in your back bend first, so you've already got the head, the chest, the belly lifted. If you're comfortably holding onto the feet, start to use the feet now to push into the hands so you get that extra height into your pose. and lowering down. You're welcome to continue here, especially if you know the belly facing up poses don't feel right for you. However, if you wish to find your way onto your back, we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck under the toes, lift up, and then we're going to find our way into child's pose, just to release the back. So you might bring hands underneath the forehead, you might have the arms reaching to the top of the mat. So this little practice is just like a little mini yoga pose tutorial, a little check-in. These poses where we're opening and lifting up through the throat is what's helping us to open the throat chakra. Now we're going to move on to the back into bridge pose, and this then helps to stimulate the throat chakra because you're putting a little pressure onto that area. So we're going to roll onto the back, knees are bent, knees and feet are hip width apart. You're pushing into the feet nice and evenly. Slight tuck of the chin into the chest, hands down by your side. And as you push into the feet, start to lift the hips, the lower back, maybe the middle back. Focusing on the breath. It can be really good to engage the glutes, so squeezing the glutes in, pushing evenly through the feet. And slowly lowering back down. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Pushing into the feet, lifting the hips, the lower back, the middle back, focusing on the breath. You might be engaging the glutes just to help work with strengthening the glutes, which helps with the back, helps with the knees. Gently lowering all the way back down. One last time, push into the feet, using the hands just to support you. Doesn't matter how high you lift up. And gently lowering all the way back down. Leave the feet on the mat, but walk the feet wide. So take your left foot to the left edge, right foot to the right edge, drop the knees together, and then windscreen wiper the legs. Just swaying the legs side to side, getting that little release into the lower back. And if you've practiced this all the way through, so you've done week 1, 2, 3, and now you're practicing this week, you're very welcome to move into Savasana, or you might be ready to go into a bit more of a back bend practice or slightly different practice if this is your first video that you've dived into. So I will pop a couple of links at the end. So listen to your body. I'll pop a couple of links here and here for some more practices. If you haven't subscribed, please do so by clicking the button here. It just shows your support for free yoga on YouTube. It's lovely to be able to support you, especially if you are staying home, you're not able to go out to work, but it's still lovely to be able to see and know that you're moving your body, listening to your body and connecting with the breath. Next week we're going to start a new practice. It's a new moon tomorrow. We're officially moving into Gemini season from tomorrow, so next week we'll be going into our week 1 for our Gemini practice. So I'll go into that a little bit more next week. Take care, thank you very much, and namaste.